Hey people, welcome to the Run Testers, and in this video in partnership with Precision Fuel and Hydration, I'm going to take you through all this stuff that is on the bed. What this is my kit that I'm going to use to run the River Danube from sea to source, 2,000 miles in 70 days, running about a marathon a day. Pretty much self-sufficient, self-supported. I will have some campsites, I will try and find some beds some places, but essentially what you've got here in front of you is everything that I need to basically carry me along that river and survive. If I end up in the wilderness somewhere where I don't have any kind of civilization, I have everything on my back that I need to run, to sleep, to run, all of those things. So what I'm going to do here is going to whip you very quickly through all of the essentials that I've packed in here. Now, if you're doing a multi-day stage race like the Marathon Des Sables, or you've got other kind of multi-day running adventures that you want to do, all of the kit here is the kind of kit that you would want to be looking at taking. Much of the things that I've got here are things that I've actually tried and tested across the Marathon Des Sables or on other sort of multi-day running adventures that I've done in the past. So I know they all work. They're things that I trust. They're very reliable, and this is the kind of kit I think that you should be looking at. So it'll be useful for you guys, but let's get into it. So to kick off, what I'm going to start with, this is my kind of sleeping essential. So in this bag here, I've got a Yeti Fever Zero sleeping bag. It is really, really lightweight. It's kind of goosed down. It weighs nothing. It's about 250 grams. And actually it packs down even smaller than this, almost into kind of like a small football. Saves weight, saves space. This is a kind of sleeping bag that will do you very well in warm conditions. It's going to be very hot where I am. So I don't need too much protection. I don't need sort of sub-zero. So it's lightweight. It's enough protection, and that will be what I will sleep in. On the outside of that, I'm going to take this. This is an Alp Kit bivy sack. It weighs about 400 grams. This is my waterproof outer layer. I don't have a tent, so this will kind of be wrapped around the sleeping bag, and that will protect me from the elements outside. It's got a hood that covers my face. Again, rolls up nice and tight so I can get it into the pack. Inside of all of that, I'm going to be using this. This is a Thermarest Neo Air X Lite. It's a half mat sleeping mat. Again, blow it up with your own sort of power. Super lightweight. It only comes down just below the bum, so it's a half mat. It's not as comfortable as you might go for a full mat, but again, I'm looking at weight to kind of to sort of comfort ratio, and I've used this a lot, and that is kind of super useful. Really important item. I'm going to take it's like an army Forrest Gump style poncho. So this is like hooded cover that goes down, covers both sides. It's fully waterproof. If I do encounter rain or any storms, then that's what I'll put on to run with. I hope not to have to do that too much, but also this will double. I can basically hook it up using these couple of bungee cords, and it becomes a ceiling. So I can put that over my campsite when I'm bivvying, and it will keep me dry through the night. If I know it's going to be hot, I can also use it under the bivy sack as an extra ground sheet for protections from kind of creepy crawlies and to keep me off the ground a bit. I got a couple of dry bags, really important. One for kind of smaller tech, phones, battery packs, all of those things, and one for other bits and bobs that I want to keep dry. What I tend to use this for sometimes is the night before I jump into my camp, I'll put all of my electronic essentials into this dry bag, and I'll put that inside the bivy sack as well. Bivy sack can get a bit condensated in there, so that gives it an extra layer of protection inside the bivy sack. Now, onto hydration. So on the road, what I'm going to have here is I've got two Raidlight Argo 2 bottles. These are kind of ergonomic 800ml bottles that will sit on my pack. I will fill one of those with electrolytes, one with water. I'm also going to be taking this Camelback bottle as an extra kind of added. This is a bit of a luxury, I think. You might not need this on all adventures, but I'm going to be running through some places where I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get water. There won't be a good source of water. So this is a Camelback with a life straw built in. Now the life straw basically filters out 99% of the nasty bacteria and all the things you don't want to be putting in your gut. And that essentially means that I can drink from pretty much any water source that I come across. So that is basically like an emergency. At some point when I reach sort of place where there's more civilization, I might give that away to someone who could make use of it. The other thing I've got to say, I've also got one extra pack here. I'm taking some marathon drop bag from the Boston Marathon that I've rolled up there. Again, just an added little extra there that I'm going to use if I need to keep other things dry or away from the water, all of those things. That's a bit of a spare. I've got a BioLite lightweight head torch. It's not hugely powerful. in terms of light it gives, but it's really lightweight. It's super comfortable to run in. I won't be doing that much night running. It's USB chargeable, so I can charge it off the battery packs. And yeah, that's kind of for the camp really. One thing I'm definitely going to encounter out there, because I saw them on the recce, are some wild dogs or stray dogs, or dogs that are they're called yard dogs. They're kind of guarding properties where the gates are open. They come out in groups of 4 or 5, or there could be a couple, and they could be a bit yappy. They can potentially be a bit dangerous. So I've got this thing, which is called a Doggy Dazzler 2. This is an audio deterrent. So you press a button, it fires audio at the dog, and it basically just rocks them back a bit. It kind of keeps them away, but not all of them. Some of them aren't bothered by it. So as backup, I've got this. This is K917. This is like a pepper spray. It's not quite a pepper spray, but it's kind of equivalent, that works on dogs. It basically stuns them for about 20 minutes. It's not harmful. They recover completely afterwards, but it does dazzle them, and it kind of gives you time to sort of move away. So if any of those four-leggers get close, this is my next line of defense, which I'm hoping I'm going to be quick enough to get out and use. Let's hope they don't get that close. In terms of other things coming at you for protection, I'm taking some Life Systems Expedition Plus mozzie and insect repellent. This is super strong, 95% DEET. I'm going to be running through the Danube Delta, where it's basically big marshlands. Obviously alongside the river there's going to be a lot of mosquitoes, but also ticks. Ticks are an issue in Romania, and I don't want encephalitis. So this is tick repellent. I'll be using that, 95% DEET. That will keep those away. P20 sun cream. Use this in the desert. It's 50 proof kind of factor. It's kind of one application, so you whack this on in the morning. You don't have to use it again. Did exactly that at the Marathon Des Sables. It doesn't leak and run into your eyes, so it's really, really good for running. I would highly recommend that, even for your daily runs if you want to use it. I'll decant that into a smaller bottle because that's a bit big, and I've got a little sprayer to save weight. 2-Tom Sport Shield. It's like a body glide, basically anti-chafe and anti-blister kind of roll-on. This is for your nipples and for your soft bits down there that you really don't want chafing. Over 70 days, I do not want chafing, so this is an absolute essential. I always use this for the marathons as well, so that's a really good one. And then also for hygiene, obviously, I've got to brush my teeth. And you're not an adventurer as far as I'm concerned if you don't carry a toothbrush that's been cut in half to save weight. I mean, yeah, so that's going in. Little pot of toothpaste that I'll refill as I go, rather than carrying a whole tube of toothpaste. And look, I've got 50 mils of shower gel. That'll be enough for 70 days, right? Into kind of some medical supplies. So a couple of things I've got here. Tick twister. So I've got a little thing that can pull off ticks in case I get any of those on my body. I've got 2 syringes, and I will take some Friar's Balsam, which is like an iodine kind of substitute. And if I get small blisters, what I did at the MDS is I'll pierce them with a needle, and then I'll fire in a little bit of the iodine Friar's Balsam, which disinfects it. And that's a really good way to treat them. And you get in there and do that early, it means you don't get bigger blisters that grow and cause you a lot of problems. So that fixes that. That's a really good thing if you're doing multi-day. Something I totally recommend. It worked on the MDS for me. I've got some iodine patches. These are kind of surgical kind of grade iodine patches. Again, if you get cuts, anything that needs dressing, pop these layers on before you put your plasters and your bandages on, and they keep everything nice and clean, so it keeps nasty infections away. I've got some cotton wool buds and bits and pieces. In here, I've got a little lightweight medical kit that contains things like paracetamol, ibuprofen, a bit of Pro Plus, lots of different plasters and dressings. And I will take a few kind of wet wipes, although I'm going to be a filthy monkey when I'm out there. I've got some nail clippers. Got to keep those toenails down. 70 days, those toenails are going to grow. Don't forget those. I've got a knife, trusted knife that I took on the MDS. That's for cutting things open. I've got some scissors. They'll be in the medical kit for any bandaging I need to do. I've got another little pack here, safety blanket. Absolutely essential. I've got a little safety flashing mirror in there, which I'll take again. You can signal if you get into trouble. I've got some extra kind of cord for tying things should things snap or bungee cords break. Some spare batteries. Moving on then to kind of the technology that I'm going to take. This is a bag of cables. That's all my charging cables in here. I've got some really cool kit in here. Start with the kind of safety issues. I've got a Garmin InReach Mini 2. This is a SatComs device that basically lets me send my location whether or not I have a phone network. It works completely independently. So not only will this be the thing that I use for the beacon for people to track the run, I can also send and receive text messages to key people on here. Other people can message me, and I can also send up a safety alert if anything bad happens. So, I mean, again, not essential for every single adventure run that you might do, but for this, I just feel like this is a little bit of an extra kind of safety blanket that I'm really happy to have with me. Another cool thing, this is called a Pocket Talk. This is like a real-time translator. So talking to this, and hopefully it spits out the right kind of words, audio for any of the languages. I haven't tested this though, it only arrived today. Someone tipped me off about it. So let's give it a go. I mean, I'm not going to know if I talk into this, whether it's saying the right thing in Hungarian or Romanian. Well, I'm not going to have a clue. But again, that may well come in handy. So that is, again, a bit of a luxury, but I'm going to take it because I think it will come in handy. Got a couple of battery packs, normal battery packs, and I've got this ISIS freeloader solar charging panel for backup. That will go on my back as I run, on the top of the pack, and charge throughout the day. And with these three, basically, I hope to have enough juice to power my gadgets for 2 or 3 days without having to need to get to a new power source. So with a bit of luck, that will keep me powered up. Jaybird Vista 2 headphones. These are IP68 rated, so they're really durable. Sweat, water, dust, all of those things, all the kind of knocks that are going to take along this. The case is also IP rated, which is really important in case you get caught in the rain. And it's got this little toggle, so it attaches up. My favourite thing about them. Watch-wise, I'm taking the Garmin Enduro mainly because this has got an 80-hour GPS battery life, so it'll track me for that long, provided I can get good solar conditions, which I should have. And that means, basically this is going to cover my turn-by-turn navigation and also just all the tracking needs that I have. I'm going to try and film the whole thing with this. This is Insta360 Go 2. It's a tiny, tiny little handheld cam. That's actually the camera. It comes in a case that extends the battery life, connects to a selfie stick, but also I've got these mounts. I can wear it as a pendant on my shirt. I can mount it to my cap. I've also got this. You can mount it in here, stick it up and do run-through shots. This is wicked. I think there's about 32 gigs of storage on this, and it will last me a couple of days before I have to transfer the footage to my phone and offload that. But it's so easy to use. This is a fantastic adventure shooting product. Next, we're off away from the tech, and now we're into kind of fueling. I'm going to do a separate fueling video to tell you exactly what my nutrition is going to be, but I wanted to take you through a few examples here of the key things that I'm going to be taking. Now, I mentioned that this video is in partnership with Precision Fuel and Hydration. They work very closely with me to work out a fueling strategy for this run that involved using some of their products, but also the kind of things that I'm going to have to forage for on the route. So I'll be eating out of shops and service stations and whatever I can find, cafes. But I'm taking some running fuel that's familiar to me, that's going to be psychologically important, but also know that I can get whilst I'm running the things that I like to eat in. So of those things, I'm going to take about 7 days worth, and then I'll have resupply packages. But I'm going to take some of these 90-gram carb gel pouches. These are great because they're resealable. So anything I don't use, I'm not throwing away. I've got half-open sticky gel, so I'm maximising kind of my weight and carry there by being able to use these over days where I haven't used all of them. I've got these chews, 30 grams in each, the tiniest little chews for carbs. These are absolutely perfect for the pack, saving weight. Weight to carbs ratio is brilliant. For hydration, I'm going to be taking 2 sets of basically electrolyte tablets. I've got a 1500 sodium and a 1000 sodium. The 1500s I will use before and after the run, so in the morning and then after for recovery. The 1000s will be going into my bottles for drinking during my runs. And those are all based on my sweat rate. That I did a sweat rate test with Precision Hydration. You guys can go and do that test over on their website. We'll put some links in the caption below to find out what your kind of sweat rate is, and also the salt content of your sweat too, which is really important. I'm a medium kind of salty sweater, so I'm good. Also, then I know there's going to be some times when tiredness and fatigue kicks in. Early mornings where I've got to get up and go and face running, or late into the day where I'm struggling. And so I'm going to take a few, not many, of these brand new caffeine gels. They've got 100 milligrams of gels, 30 grams of carbs. They're pretty compact and tiny. So I'll have some of those to use sparingly for those moments when I really need a pick-me-up and a kick and I can't get access to caffeine or anything elsewhere. So I'll be taking some of those. All of these products you can get on the Precision Fuel and Hydration website. We'll have a link in the caption below, and we've got a discount code to get you some money off. That'll also be in the caption, so check them out. I've also got in here, I've got vacuum sealed some packets up that have some full kind of sweet amino acids. So all the building blocks that you need to restore the muscles, decanted here with some super greens. And basically this is kind of the foundation of my nutrition. They're little pep me ups for every day. So that's nutrition. That's all of that stuff done. I'm going to switch. Oh, one quick thing. I've got myself some translation cards written out in all the languages. There are some key phrases in Serbian, words like water or can I sleep in your garden? Those are going in the pack. I'm going to come round here. And I'll switch for my cameraman. Cheers, Andy. Now, onto the really kind of important other stuff. We've got kit. running kit and camp kit. I've separated these out into 2 bits. So I'm only going to have 1 set of gear that I'm going to run in. Pretty much. I'm going to take a few pairs of socks. But then I've got a kit that I'm going to change into for when I'm in camp. But very minimal kit here. So the first thing I've got is a Vola back merino wool earth base layer. It's so lightweight, it's so comfortable, it's warm without being heavy, and it's exactly the kind of thing when you're tired and you might be getting cold and shivers or whatever in the night if it does get cold. You put this on and it's like it basically just changes your attitude, it changes the way you feel. So that is going in, it's one of my favourite things. I've also got an Under Armour heat gear base layer. This is a bit more substantial. It's got thumb loops. This kind of thing I might pop on when I get into my bivy sack. It's really good at kind of keeping you protected from all the bugs and things. Likewise for camp, I've got a pair of running leggings. And again, I just want to keep things from crawling on me, so those will go on when I go to sleep probably. I've got a pair of Columbia waterproof trousers. So these are quite lightweight. They're fully waterproof. They've got zip pockets. They're tight. They're kind of, you can run in them if I need to, because they're quite nice and tapered. I hope I don't have to do that. It should be pretty hot, but if it gets a storm and I need to do that, those will protect me nicely. And also can wear a biggie. This is my jacket, my waterproof jacket. Now this is the Seamount Storm Pro 3H. It's got a 20,000 Schlurmer rating. I'll put that on. Anyway, it's really, really highly waterproof, but still breathable. So at night, whenever it's running, if I get caught in a storm, this thing is going to be super protection because I can't afford for my kit to get wet. So these 2 things, again, absolutely crucial. I've got a balaclava. I've got an Under Armour balaclava. This is for the night. Like I found one on the recce in the bivy sack. You get the feelings, you just get these feelings that things are crawling on you. So I'm going to pop that on. And again, it just keeps the mozzies off. And it gives you a little bit of extra comfort and protection. I've got a pair of gloves. Speaking of mozzies, somewhere in here, and I've forgotten about it, I've got a mozzie net. Head net. I'll put that on before I go to sleep at night so I'm protected in my bivy sack. I've got a towel, micro towel. I might not take that because it's quite heavy, although I probably will need at some point to dry myself and have a wash. I've got some compression sleeves. Now I might run with these, but mainly I'm taking them as they're really useful just as an additional layer. If you need warmth on the arms, on the legs, or you want extra protection in camp, or if I run through any sections where it's going to be high grass and there might be ticks and stuff, I want to avoid that. So these are on for added protection on the legs. So onto the running kit then. Well, this basically boils down to something quite simple. I have an Innovate Base Layer 3.0 short sleeve shirt. This is brilliant. I've used this an enormous amount. It's very, very thin, very, very lightweight. It's super minimal. It dries really quickly. It doesn't smell too bad after you've used it a lot. And yeah, it's super comfortable, no chafing, love it. So I can run with that under a t-shirt or I can run with it on its own, and that is going to be perfect. I've got some CXP base layer shorts. Now again, these have a nice wide waistband. That means they don't cut in, you don't get any kind of grief over long distances and days in, days out. They sit really nice and snug and elasticated. The other thing, because they've got very few seams, if any at all, there's no chafing from these shorts. I know I can run in them and they feel comfortable. Everything feels supported and compact, and there's no chafing, and that's again really, really important to prevent that. I have some Seamount Aosta French shorts. These are beautiful. Main thing about these though is they've got the built-in belt up the top, giving me extra capacity and extra storage. They have got a built-in base layer short. They're super silky. They've got some zip pockets, so lots of storage. They're nice and fitted, and again, just really, really comfortable to run in. Love those. Socks, Brave Endurance, my favourite socks. They're super comfortable, but also they come with some really interesting designs. I love the patterns, bit of fun, makes your day kind of happier. Lots of people kind of comment on them. Probably the only item of clothing I've ever owned that random strangers come up to me and compliment me on when I'm wearing them, ever in my whole entire life. I'm 44. So 3 pairs of those will go in. I'll take the Rockets and a couple of other pairs too. Basically one t-shirt, it's a pretty standard t-shirt. I've got 3 buffs, can't have enough buffs. Just as one story behind this one, UTMB buff. I haven't run the UTMB, but I got given this buff when I went out there to watch it, standing on that finish line, watching the people come into town and the struggles they've been through over that race is a moment of inspiration that I'll never forget. The struggle, the fortitude, and I wear this because it reminds me that you can suffer and you can get through it, because I've seen people do it. Cap, kick it in the dick cap. This is the Unicorn Rainbow. This one is coming with me. This is from my dentist Dave. Designed this Made a brilliant hat. I love to run in it. And yeah, the unicorn will see me along the Danube. I've got some Tifosi Swix sunglasses. These are about £30, 35 euros. They are polarized, scratch proof, super lightweight. They've got rubberized nose bridge. They don't slip. They're, again, you know, they're just very comfortable to run in. And if I lose them or they get broken, I'm not too worried about it because they're not too expensive. I guess on to the final thing. This is one that I've been debating for a long time. It's the shoes. What shoes was I going to wear? I had a debate about whether taking sort of road to trail shoes or go road shoes. Back in November, I did 7 marathons in 7 days on the road. I'm going to be running 80% tarmac out there. And this was the shoe, the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2 that I went back to after those 7 marathons in 7 days. It's comfortable, it's roomy, it's propulsive, it's cushioned and protected without being too soft. The heel collars don't rub. You know, the padding around the tongue is just right. It's just really well balanced. And it was just the right shoe. It's a shoe that I wanted to put on day 7 when I'd done those 7 in 7. And so I'm going back to this shoe. It's got enough grip, I think, and durability to handle those segments of off-road that I'm going to have to do. So yeah, the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2 is my shoe of choice. The only caveat to that is that I might have a Speed 3 coming in. And if that lands in time, I might take that with me. Or it might be sent out along the way and I might switch up and test those en route. I'm hoping from some of the things that I've seen about the Speed 3 that they've made that shoe better. So I don't think they've messed it up, and I'm fairly confident that that'll be something I'll be able to run into. But Speed 2 is my trusted shoe. And then finally, I said finally before for the shoe, but I forgot about this vest. I've got this. I'm going to take this Naked Ultra high capacity running vest. This is probably going to go over my base layer, under my t-shirt. It beefs up my storage, gives me other options for carrying things, and also some of my really important stuff will probably end up being kind of secreted away inside this vest where it's not on show. So there is that one. Last of all, and I promise you this is the last one, I'm taking this guy. This guy, his name is American Monkey. That's because he was found in Baltimore at the airport. He was a present, well actually, he discovered us and I brought him back to come and live with us in our house with my 7-year-old son. And it's time for him to go on an adventure. So he is coming with me. We haven't spoken to my son yet about whether or not there's going to be a problem if I lose him, but I'm going to have him on my back. This is my Wilson. This guy is my Wilson. He's my company for those dark moments. So, and all of that kit is going to end up in this. This is my running pack. It's an 18 to 24 litre expandable running pack designed exactly for this kind of adventure. It is called the Instinct XX, a French company, fairly new, and it's basically designed for this. I mean, it's got some great features on it. Got lots of different kind of storage areas that you can separate out your kit and keep things nice and safe. There are waterproof compartments. This roll top means that you can add capacity to the top, and there's also a main other compartment down in the side as well as this front compartment. There's bits on the back here, sort of stretch mesh like here, and that'll be able to fit my bivy sack and my sleeping mat in there, and that stretches out nice and big. Other touches that you've got, bottle holders, really nice stretchy bottle holders that will easily take those 800ml bottles and they don't sit too high. But if you want to, there's also 2 pockets down below which do exactly the same. So I can move, if I feel my bottles are too high, I can move them down and have them lower. But I can also crucially beef up my water carry. If I feel like I'm going through a section, I want to put in some temporary bottles or that Camelback, they will also fit in here. Lots of zip pockets, lots of storage space and stash space for kind of having your fuel where you want it up front. One thing I really like about this, there's a clip-on pouch on the top, which is deliberately designed for you to put your solar charging pack in. So it sits on your back and can gather the sun whilst you're running. Brilliant. The harness is nice and wide. It's got 3 movable straps that you can basically height adjustable. It's got a nicely sort of thin but padded back that also runs down into the harness, and it's nice and breathable, gets a good fit. And this basically, I was struggling to find the right pack, but this one I rate it excellent. So that's everything is going to go in there. The other thing, it sits quite nicely sort of high off the back. So interestingly, for the weight that I've got in that pack, it's going to be somewhere around 8 kilos. It doesn't feel like 8 kilos on the back when it's in that pack. So there you have it. That is my kind of, it's supposed to be whistle stop, but it's quite a long video about my kit I'm going to take on the Danube to run 2,000 miles in 70 days. These are all essentials. These are all great kit that I would highly recommend. I think take a look at it if you're doing anything like this. I will put a full kit list in the link below. There's a spreadsheet with weights and prices, all that kind of stuff, links to where you can buy them all. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you'll hear about you can follow the journey. There'll be links in the caption below about kind of following my route and all of those kind of things. If you want to connect with me, come and run with me. If you live near the Danube, do that. I'm looking forward to having sort of people to come on the run, would like to meet people. So that's all good as well. But thank you for watching, and we will see you again soon on the Run Testers.